Hi, this is Robert, and you're watching Chris Cornell, Lily the Lone Child, the Lone Stir. First of all, before I get into things, tomorrow I'm also going to do a video on the Orange Antichrist about him being the king of bullies. But I'm going back to doing rock star stuff, and tomorrow I'm also going to talk about whether Soundgarden, about with Tom Morello, about Soundgarden and Alice and Chains should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right now, I'm just going to do a little video right now. And first of all, before I get into this, I'm going to talk about what I said in my last two videos about these two people, Nickwood scum and the falling angel. Especially, it's just amusing how both these people, how sleazy they are, how scum they are. And the falling angel was my personal Vicky and Courtney Love. She's like a hybrid between the two. And but now I'm going to get into my presentation. All right. You notice that, since when back, and I'm going to tell you the truth a little bit what Chris is doing, because he did make a lot of mistakes, and it's important. And I want to let you know Peter Cornell's Facebook is back. So he's back on social media. So I'm happy to say that. But about Lily, I feel sorry for that girl because she never really got a chance to know her dad. First, when she was born, her dad was out there boozing around. Chris was boozing around, taking deoxys. And eventually he was out there cheating, unfortunately. And then eventually Susan divorced him. And then by the time he met the Black Widow, Vicky, she took sole control. So they spend very little time. And I really feel sorry because the speech she left last year at the circus benefit show, it was probably the most highlight of the show. Because she really wanted to get to her. I really feel sorry for that poor girl. She never got the chance to know her dad. And, I really wish somehow he stayed with Susan because perhaps Chris would have been alive. But the Black Widow, the witches controlled him all through his time up until his death. And it's very sad, unfortunate, It's very unfortunate. And, something. Because when I heard about Chris was married, I said, what happened with Sylvan Silver? That was back when he was with touring the first Audio Slave album. I said, what the hell happened? Why is he not with Susan no more? I thought Susan was great because she ran, both. Also, I talk about Alice in Chains. They were probably the second best, actually just as good as Soundgarden. And she really cared about Lane Stanley a lot. And he, like Contract with Nick said, at the Unplugged performance, yeah, he messed up because of the drugs, but he still gave it all he got. And until the very last show in July of '96, it was in, I think, St. Louis or something like that. He still put on one hell of a performance despite he was dope sick and he overdosed after the show. And it shows that Susan, also one that notified about Demra, his ex, she turned out to be a witch too about when she passed away. Lane was saying, but it really didn't have to. Even Lane's mom, Nancy, knew that it had nothing to do with Demeral's death. He was on the path of, but I think what Demeril got him hooked on heroin, that's when he got under the demise since later '91, and then he know about the Dirt, but the Dirt album was so good. And then he had Jerry Cantrell's vocals um, blend in with Lane Stanley's vocals. It was like a total masterpiece, total epic, something unique in music. You can't compare it because it's two different things with Lennon and McCarthy kind of thing, but they were such a great band. They deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just as much also as Soundgarden. That Chris, their each album when he started from the first album, then he got Screaming Life, then he got Ultra Mega OK. They were like a heavy, kind of like a punkish band. Then he had Loud in Love, which was more punky, or I can't describe it. And I thought Bad Motorfinger was the heaviest album, and I think that's one of my favorites. It's always a tie between Bad Motorfinger and Super Unknown, where Super Unknown was darker, and then they on the Down the Upside up they went more towards punkish, and then they made one album which was kind of very diverse album, As stuff that could have been on his solo stuff, Audio Slave, and the later Soundgarden stuff. It was like That band, I was really wondering what the next album would sound like, but we might still hear it, you know? But Lily, you know, the poor girl, I wish she really got to know her dad more. If Chris didn't marry that witch, but you know, Chris wasn't, like, when he was drinking, he wasn't the most reliable person, or taking drugs, you know? But I think, but it just shows you rock stars are flawed too. They're not somebody to worship, you know? And that's why I have to turn to Jesus, which, you know, you can't idolize rock stars, because I did that for a long time, and it's really, you can't worship false idols. I still love the music he put out. I love the music all these musicians put out, but it gets to the point where there's only one God, and you know who he is, JC, you know? But, you know, like I was talking about before earlier, that, you know, I had my own personal Vicky in my life, and Courtney, even though we never officially dated. But imagine if I really did dated this person, it would have really, I tried to commit suicide over this person, which was not a suicide. It still would, but like, you know, this is such a connection why I relate to the grunge era, because it was the most honest era, unlike the glam metal, all about getting women, cocaine, booze, getting laid, and that's just garbage. There's a couple of stuff I do like, but I thought '80s was more like best for thrash metal. You got Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, and then you got these other bands like Testament, Exorcist. I thought that's what I defined the '80s more. In the '90s, obviously, was the grunge. Obviously, you had Soundgarden and Alice in Chains. I love Nirvana, and Pearl Jam put out some great records too. And then you had from Seattle, then you had Stone Temple Pilots. They were from California. Then you had the Screaming Trees. They were really underrated. Screaming Trees were the shit. You know, they were really the fucking shit. You know, but I really hope they get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But I think if they get it, Vicky, the Black Widow, should stay the fuck away from even accepting. But of course she won't. It should be Lily, or Peter Cornell should be the one to accept the award for Chris. That's what my take is on that, you know. And tomorrow I'm going to do a video on the Orange Antichrist, you know. So it's going to be a lot of stuff, you know. And you know, so thank you so much, and thank you for bearing me. And then we talked about too, it's in the works that me and my soon-to-be girlfriend we'll have we'll be sharing a channel together, and it'll be like, you know, in this Christian channel called Nate and Forgot. It's going to be something like this, where you get a couples channel, which is going to be really great, you know, the both of us. And I would like to see her start doing some videos again, Amy, because she really has a lot of great heart, compassion, and I can't wait for her to come and visit. You know, she's an amazing, probably one of the sweetest girls I've ever talked to. And I want to thank also, of course, the two other people too. The other two couple, they were the one that helped me start this thing, and they encouraged me to keep going. So I thank them too as well. And I like to get a lot of more faces on there. And then tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the Orange Antichrist, and I might do another Cornell or Bennington video tomorrow. So this is going to be great. So I love you guys. Okay, bye.